Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast in a game here on Dream Altar between GGNaugrim and BeastyQT. You can see BeastyQT spawning as the yellow Terran player at the 10 o'clock position. Meanwhile, GGNaugrim spawning as the green Zerg player here at the 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock position. And apparently BeastyQT wanting to know what the third map is. No one is apparently listening to him as this game does get underway. It looks like it will be Abyssal Caverns or perhaps Antigua Shipyard. Yeah, Antigua Shipyard. So we'll see. BeastyQT perhaps knowing that this map is not very, very favorable for him. So that is why he is asking what the next maps would be. So good luck, have fun, BBQ. I'm not quite sure what the BBQ is. Anyways, we'll see what this game does and how this game opens up here on Dream Altar. BeastyQT, the yellow Terran player. Meanwhile, GGNaugrim, the green Zerg. As this map, Dream Altar, a much larger map. So I don't expect any crazy dual barracks harassment as we saw in the last matchup. And apparently, BeastyQT trying to build closer to home, as opposed to building a wall off here on his front door. Not quite sure of the strategy behind this. We most likely will see a 15 hatch come in from Naugrim as a drone is now making his way out. First going to do some cross spawn scouting, as we now see an Overlord slowly makes his way off to this position as well. Hatchery is in place, so GGNaugrim should be able to get a very strong economy going in this particular matchup. Perhaps getting that spawning pool a little bit later and then being able to just drone up off of two bases. Now, BeastyQT is going for the standard refinery as well, so his economy is going to be significantly delayed as he's not going to be able to really expand for quite some time. With this one refinery here, it looks like he is going to be building another supply depot over here, perhaps building a command center here eventually to try to wall off this position. He is not going for a Reaper expand. And the longer he delays his expansion, the more behind he's going to be, and the more ground he's going to have to try and make up in this matchup, as a Zerg off of two bases can easily get into a stronger economy than, say, a Terran off of one base, even with mules. Drone now backing off after finding out where his opponent is. The Overlord will get in position. It looks like the Marine is trying to chase, and the Marine did catch sight of it. The drone is going to come back over here, and now, decides to back off once more. The drone down to 17 hit points. Looks like it wants to run away, and it looks like the Marine may be able to scout this out. Zerglings and Queens now finally being added. The drone could grow up to be a spine crawler. Is it going to grow up and be a spine crawler? No, it's going to hide off over to the side here. The Marine is trying to chase it down, and there is simply just too many drones in this engagement. And the Marine, very smart, backing off, and now Zergling's going to come out to engage, and now poor Marine will get taken down. Yeah, 6 Zerglings finishing it off there. So 6 Zerglings easily able to take down 1 Marine as a spine or as a command center now being established off over here. We are getting some more supply depots, and we are going into a reactor Hellion expansion, a little bit out of the ordinary, going for the standard reactor Hellion expansion, as the Zerglings are now going to try to make their way in and perhaps get some damage in. This one Marine most likely will get taken down again, as the Zerglings are going to try to chase it down. It looks like the Marine is going to be able to hide back over here. SCV's taking down this one particular, or getting taken down by the Zerglings as well. More damage being had, but we are going to be getting some Hellions, as BeastyQT's Hellions now getting some easy damage there. And going to finish off some more workers. So far, no side has gotten any worker kills. Or is it? Yeah, no worker kills as of yet. As the SCV was able to get back to work, Hellions have come over. There is an Overlord hiding off in this position here, and will be able to do a decent amount of spotting. Spine Crawler and Queen in position in order to receive these 2 Hellions, as the Hellions most likely will come around the far side and try to see what's on this ramp without trying to blindly go up onto this high ground. Second spine crawler now being added as well. There are going to be 4 Hellions now making their way in. 32 drones compared to 25 SCVs, as we are going to see still more and more drones being macroed up by the Zerg. Command center now upgrading to an orbital command. BeastyQT has a little bit of catch up to do, but he is even on bases, so that is going to definitely help him out. The rocks down over here by GG need to be destroyed in order for him to establish his third base, but then these Hellions have such a strong map presence that he cannot really push out all too easily. The creep tumors perhaps should start still being added up onto the high ground and build that creep highway towards his opponent's base without being torched by those Hellions there. We'll see how all of this will work out, as the Hellions are now going to try to make their way up, and they're going to pretty much see that these rocks have yet to be destroyed, and BeastyQT knows that he's not behind on bases now. Being even on bases, not too bad. A drone now making its way out. It looks like the drone is going to get torched. Yeah, there it goes. Not quite sure what was going on there, as we are now transitioning back into marine tank play, most likely. But we are going into hive tech. Sorry, not hive tech, layer tech. So layer tech now being added. Queens still taking care of the hatcheries back over here, but it doesn't really look like GGNaugrim is really doing anything except for heavy macroing. And he's not going to be able to macro all too much, as you already see BeastyQT taking down the destructible rocks over here. We need to see roaches, perhaps with roach speed, in order to regain map control. Roaches would also be very effective at taking down these destructible rocks, as these Hellions are just completely corralling Naugrim. One spine crawler now down on the low ground. A queen now coming in as well. And the creep tumors are going to be added. So nicely done. It looks like the Hellion may try to torch that creep tumor. Yes, able to do so. Little bit of damage absorbed. And a new creep tumor now being laid down here. So it looks like the Hellions really want to try to come in. I'm not quite sure you really want to build a creep tumor that close to the spine crawler, as you can easily get that splash damage in. As now we are going to see Hellions make their way back over here. And yes, happy Thanksgiving as well, Yakuza. Back over here, as the Hellions now are going to be able to do a push forward here. Spine Crawler is going to get them some damage, and now the Zerglings are going to come back around, and a nice surround and a nice trap by GGNaugrim. All of those Hellions have been destroyed, and now map control going back in favor of BeastyQT. But BeastyQT now with 3 orbital commands, going to be able to call in additional mules, and this is really going to give the economy of BeastyQT just a nice boost. 3 mules, 41 SCVs compared to 54 drones, as the Zerglings take down those rocks, and most likely a hatchery will be placed down here in just a moment. Harvester count, yeah, 53 compared to 44. We'll see how all of this works. We do have a hatchery here. Most likely we'll set up a hatchery here as well, trying to catch up and surpass his opponent in the overall lead. Zerglings is now going to make their way in. They need to get in quickly, otherwise the bunker is going to be set up in time. GG has not scouted this out yet. Now going to come in and now catch a sight of this, trying to take down the missile turrets over here. Unable to really make their way through. Marines back over here. Zerglings just getting caught up on themselves, and that's a bad sign, as we are now going into a lot of Mutalisks. 13 Mutalisks now being added. It looks like this missile turret may get torched down, and that would be pretty funny, as the Mutalisks are going to be able to deal a lot of damage in just a moment. Zerglings getting, I believe, blasted back over here. Siege tanks protected by some supply depots, making sure that no Zerglings will be able to do a surround at all. Hatchery over here at the 5 o'clock position about to be completed. This third base, or apparently fourth base, about to be completed as well. So looking very strong for GG. Even though he did stay even on expansions for a little while, he should be able to surpass, as long as he gets queens over to take care of these hatcheries. He needs to get a lot of gas in order to go into this heavy Mutalisk play, as the Mutalisks are now going to fly in from the far side. There is one missile turret, and that is it. That missile turret will get quickly taken down. Down it goes, but a Mutalisk does get taken down in a group, and now in comes a Thor. The Thor may be able to, yes, get in a lot of splash damage as well. So very nice play by BeastyQT to go into a Thor, perhaps expecting to see Mutalisks. So now those Mutalisks are not going to have nearly as much of a fun time. 2 missile turrets being established. Perhaps more missile turrets will be built over here. There is a bunker over here, so essentially another missile turret there in terms of pure damage output. But we are now going into level 2 weapons upgrade, so that bunker even more effective than that missile turret. More hit points, more armor, just a little bit less range. Back over here, you can see more barracks is being added. BeastyQT going into very heavy barracks play. Also going into more factories, as we are now going to go very, very heavy into just this counterattack here. And we see more and more Thors coming in, and the tech lab does get destroyed. So not quite sure what was being researched there. Perhaps Stim. And Stim is now, once again, has to be re-researched, so nicely done. The Mutalisks, however, are now stuck in the backside of this base. We'll see how much damage they're going to be able to do, as the Marines are going to be able to fly by and shoot here. Missile turrets getting in some easy damage, as well as now those Mutalisks are coming back home. 4 bases to 3, harvester count 74 to 64, more Mutalisks being added, but we can see that a lot of minerals are still being floated by GG. GG needs to figure out what he wants to do with all of those additional minerals, perhaps training roaches or zerglings. Try to get those units that are not nearly as gas intensive, as GG now looking to expand into a 3rd location. So it is going to be a 3rd location for him. We'll see whether or not he's able to run up off of 5 bases. Where is that 3rd base going to be? It looks like that 3rd base is going to be off over here. So completely on the other side of the map, perhaps to try to limit his opponent's expansion options, as the Mutalisks are still flying around. BeastyQT looking to get into 200 food count off of 3 bases and then perhaps move out. He is upgraded 2-2 on his Marines at the 16-minute mark and already upgrading to 3-3. So as soon as these Marines hit 3-3, I do believe that he is going to be moving out. And this is a crazy macro game by BeastyQT. Normally you see Zerg players hitting 200 first, which we are going to see, but BeastyQT has better upgrades at this stage and has very, very heavy positioning, as we are going to see perhaps a little bit of attacks. No, it doesn't look like we're going to get any attacking there. Medevac does spot the Overlord. Down it goes, as the Mutalisks decide to back off once again. Marines now on the lookout, and we'll see what's going to be happening here. Overlord's in position to spot any scouting. Zergling's going to catch a Marine out of position there. Zerglings are upgraded 1-1. We are going into Hive Tech, so the Hive Tech is going to be able to really perhaps break down this front door with Ultralisks, Crackling upgrades, Banelings. We are getting into very heavy Medevacs as well, as the Mutalisks are still flying around. 22 Mutalisks in the air. We are going into heavy Infestors as well, as the Marines are still holding back into this position. Mutalisks, a very heavy ball now making its way out. A much larger or slightly larger army coming in from the Zerg, but the Zerg not going to be able to do much, as there are a lot of Spine Crawlers here. The Spine Crawlers are just going to simply slow down this push though and eat into some of the energy onto those Medevacs, as now both sides are just gonna get ready for an engagement. The Mutalisks and the Banelings are gonna come in from the far side. It looks like it will be able to deal significant amount of damage. Down it goes. It looks like the Siege Tanks are gonna get destroyed. Banelings are gonna find the Marines there. Down it goes, and now another missile turret gonna get destroyed, as the Zerglings Infestors are not engaging all too well. Far too back. A lot of Medevacs now trying to cause in a little bit more healing, as well as we see BeastyQT push in over here. So BeastyQT now going to destroy a lot of easy Overlords. And now with Spine Crawlers and Banelings being hatched, what will happen? Siege Tanks now getting into position. Banelings completely melted away there by those Siege Tanks, as the Marines are still continuing this push. Mutalisks are going after a lot of these Marines in transit. It looks like they're going to get destroyed over here, and now losing a lot of the production buildings. Banelings may be able to find their way straight inside this mineral line, taking down a couple SCVs, as now we're going to see that these Mutalisks are just going after these Marines and all of these units here, pretty much taking them down, and both sides taking heavy losses. A couple Siege Tanks back over here. Perhaps a couple Mutalisks should be able to destroy all of this, as the Zerglings are still unable to really do anything at all. Still, Mutalisks doing a great job going to destroy many of these production buildings, and now BeastyQT straight inside this base with 20 some odd Mutalisks able to just deal so much damage so quickly. Back over here, Marines, however, pretty much going unopposed. And if BeastyQT is somehow able to come ahead in this matchup, it's going to be because that there are no Mutalisks in play to try to defend against these Siege Tanks. You can see that there's, a decent number of Siege Tanks here. No Spire. Can he actually even train? Yes, he can still train a Mutalisk, so not quite sure why he isn't going to train. using banelings to try to take down the siege tanks. Not that good of a call there, as BeastyQT now down to a smaller number of Mutalisks at this time, still going after those, perhaps a magic box? No, not going to work. BeastyQT may be able to get off another, yes, kill there, as we now see some damage being dealt. More Marines making their way over. A Mutalisk trying to take down, and it looks as though GGNaugrim unable to deal the necessary damage as this hatchery has been taken down. Still decent saturation over here. There is still a hatchery over here that has been up for a long time but does not have any drones. And GGNaugrim, not that great of a position. No queens being trained here or here, and that is really, really bad news. Overlord is spewing some creep off at the 12 o'clock position, making sure that the Marines are forced to clear out this Overlord, and this command center is unable to land for a little bit of time. Harvester count 60 SCVs compared to 48 drones. Not that many drones are being trained up right now. Not quite sure. You don't even see very heavy queen production, even though there's every single hatchery except for the ones back at home don't have a queen. So over here, no queens. Over here, no queens. Over here, no queens. And that's really what you need in order to get back into this game when you are trying to play a little bit of the space race. You can see that the missile turret perhaps should take down or be taken down by those Zerglings, and then the Mutalisks should be able to finish that off. Infestors are now back over here. Infestors could easily get off some fungal growths. For some reason, no fungal growths have gone off there. There is a Thor over here as well, as the Zerglings perhaps are going to try to engage. The Infestors don't see what's really going on, and the drones are under attack over here. The drones finally going to be able to start mining over in this position. Infestors getting off one fungal growth before it gets taken down, and there are still a decent number of Infestors over here. Army composition is slightly larger for BeastyQT, and I'm not sure how BeastyQT came out ahead in this matchup. It really looked like GGNaugrim just overextended his stay. It looks like another fungal growth could be coming in. No additional fungal growths, and the fungal growths not hitting the Medivacs really all that well, as the Thor is now making their way in and dealing a lot of damage. And this is not looking good for GGNaugrim. More fungal growths need to be added. Marines are now going to make their way into this position and just start shooting down drones. There no real... really nothing over here. Corruptors are in the air. Marine's going to finish this off, and that is not looking good at all. And right now, it's really been a Terran beatdown. BeastyQT has pretty much been in control the entire course of the game so far, and also in control of the series. It really feels like GG just has lost a lot of his micro and doesn't have that smart of game decisions. And because of his lack of game decisions, it's really hurting him in the long run. Marines and siege tanks are back here. You can see the sheer macro of BeastyQT working out very, very well for him. We are seeing a planetary fortress being built off over here, as BeastyQT now with a much stronger economy, running off of two bases, as opposed to, and now constantly getting dropped by BeastyQT. GGNaugrim unable to really do all too much. The 3-3 Marines dropping and going to take down a hatchery. It looks like the Zerglings will be able to make their way over, but I believe the Marines have enough of a head start to take down the hatchery. Down it goes, and now all of the units back inside that medevac, ready to do another drop and annoy and harass in another day. GGNaugrim now sitting on 54 drones compared to 61 SCVs, but those 9 mules strip mining off this location. It's going to allow for very heavy production on Marines. You can see all of these barracks are just training up a bunch of Marines here and just constantly keeping up with his macro. It looks like BeastyQT will be able to get it back into that 200 food range in just a moment, and as soon as he's back ready with that 200 food, he's gonna engage. He knows he has the upgrades, 3-0 upgrades on the siege tanks and Thors, 3-3 upgrades on Marines and Ghost. Those Ghosts even have a decent amount of energy for a large amount of snipe. If those Broodlords try to come out, they will just get sniped down in just a moment. Marines did get hit with a Baneling attack there. What Infestor just finally getting a fungal growth, but for some reason not getting any infested Terrans to shoot it down. And that fungal growth was just a little bit late, kind of a waste of energy to hit one medevac with fungal growth. 11 Marines, 3 Ghosts now being added. It looks like this attack force is making its way out as the Ghosts are now pushing forward. The medevac going to rejoin in with the rest of this army. All of the creep tumors will get destroyed here in just a moment. Those Ghosts, very effective. Also Ghosts with a range of 6, dealing a fair amount of damage. As we are now going to slowly make its way in. But a fungal growth hitting a group of Ghosts, but a double snipe taking them down as well. So the Ghost did lose a little bit of health, but not too much to worry about, as another fungal growth hits a large group of Marines, tightly packed group of Marines there, as we now see a command center lifting off and landing, perhaps upgrading to a planetary fortress. This Ghost army, we are going to see perhaps some snipe in. The fungal growth hitting the group there, nicely done, but the siege tanks are battling back. Down goes that spine crawler, and I believe GGNaugrim will be giving up the GG in just a moment. Ghost more than enough to handle this situation here. Drones hiding off on the back left side. Nothing really going on over here. One spine crawler not even uprooted. Not going to even be able to take down any units, as the Ghosts are just going after drones and units. It looks like this Overlord will be able to perhaps be able to escape, but more damage is still being dealt. And it looks like GGNaugrim, who had such a macro advantage for so long, is now standing on only one leg and really not mining off of his natural expansion. Now down to 38 drones. A Reaper out and about, as well, as we are now sitting at 170 food. BeastyQT's macro slipping just a little bit as well, but it really feels like there's not much that GGNaugrim can do. We can see another drop happening over here. More infested Terrans finally being added. We could be getting a fungal growth. There you go. And the medevac is going to get taken down. Total resources lost, you can take a look there. Total army compositions, more than double by BeastyQT now. As we see, the Zerglings and the Broodlords are going to try to engage. The Broodlords really have to go up against those Ghosts. And with so many Ghosts, with so much energy, massive number of snipes could easily be used in order to take those Broodlords out of the sky. Only 4 Broodlords. The Infestors need to get off some fungal growths, but the Ghosts have a further range on that snipe, should be able to deal a lot of damage. Broodlords are upgraded 1-0. Broodlings are upgraded 3-2. And the Zerglings, I believe, do have that crackling upgrade, so they're going to be able to deal a lot of damage. But BeastyQT also has a planetary fortress and the Terran building upgrades. So the planetary fortress with 5 armor is going to be very difficult to destroy, especially by Zerglings and Broodlords, as those Broodlings are the main source of damage. You can see that the Infestors are now making their way through. Infestors, Ghosts are now making their way in. Massive number of Cloak. EMP Shockwave comes in. Snipe now coming in as well. And now going to snipe down all of those Broodlords. Nicely done. And that is going to be the GG, as not much left. Just more sniping coming in. And yeah, this very gas-intensive army, very effective. And it's just going to simply push into this position here and get the win. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this best of 3 series where BeastyQT was able to just simply dominate over GGNaugrim. First on Shatter Temple and now on Tal'Darim Altar.